What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we're talking Eyes of Wakanda, and we might be talking a little bit all the Spider-Man brand new dailies that have been just flooding the interwebs. But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, Doug, how's it going?
Well, Keith, I gotta tell you, I'm fan-freaking-tastic. I didn't realize how busy I would be this weekend. I only got to catch a couple of these episodes, but I don't care if they're spoiled for me because I know it's gonna be a good show just by watching the first two. So, first one and a half, really. I still have my issues with it, but that's something for the main discussion. Um, I think that's about all I have to say. Doug, how are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. Uh, yeah, looking forward to talking about some stuff with you, fine gentlemen. Always interesting to, get some new animation. It's funny that we are talking about this. A couple of days ago, I was watching a YouTube video where they were discussing this topic of, the thing of taking all of these animated movies and shows and putting them into live action. And the point they were making was you don't actually really have to do that. But there seems to be a thing almost almost feel like uniquely in America where we consider all animated things to be kids. It's for kids. You can't take it seriously. And that's a shame because we've reviewed a lot of animated shows. And I don't know. I don't see three kids here. Well, I mean, we are perfectly young, fit gentlemen, but
We might
we're not kids.
be, Gen X and a millennial, but we have the maturity level of about a 14-year-old. So, yeah, yeah.
Compared to say like Dick Clark, yeah, I'm a youngster.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Speaking of feeling good and young, Keith, how are you doing?
Well, gentlemen, as always, I am tremendous. I did enjoy this little animated limited series, I do believe is what they're calling it. Doesn't sound like we're getting a season two, but I enjoyed it. And I have some thoughts as I was watching it. Some things were going through my mind, and I liked the way they did some things, and some other things not so much. And then for Spider Man Day, we just got dumped a ton of Spider Man Brand New Day stuff. I was shocked. I was like, I'm just having trouble keeping up. I'm like, what is going on here? It's just all over the place. It's crazy. And but
It was
we'll
like
get
it
into
was
all.
Comic-Con or something.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. It was no Comic Con. It was nothing like that. It was just out of hey, guess what, guys? They're filming, so we got a bunch of stuff for y'all. It was nice.
Hey, you want some Spider-Man? There you go. All right.
Get me pictures of Spider Man. That was like better than J.K. Simmons, wasn't it?
That was, really. They should hire you.
I'm so glad you guys lied to me. Thank you. You really, really keep my confidence level up. But let's talk Eyes of Wakanda. 4 episodes, each about a half hour. The Eyes of David. The first one was called Into the Lion's Den. And in this episode, they had like a rogue Wakandan who was using his vibranium tech to kind of build his own little kingdom and was kind of playing it off like he was a god because of it. It was,
Now, is it me or was that the voice? Was that Sterling K. Brown?
I didn't check, but it did sound like him.
I mean, he was the uncle. I mean, my in the
In
in
Black
the
Panther, yeah.
first,
Hmm.
yeah.
Could be.
We'll have to
Could be.
check because you know what? It did sound like him. And I didn't think to check after, but basically she is a disgraced Dora Milaje they send out. She wasn't one of the war dogs, which I noticed the rest of the episodes were kind of all war dogs, so they kind of introduced us to that whole sort of role
It seemed
for
like this
Wakanda.
was the introduction of like, their formation. Like, hey, the Dora Milaje can only do so much. We may need a separate unit just, for recovery of things.
For those, independent thinkers who can't, be a part of the Dora Milaje. But she ends up, and she was like, or at least they told her, you're kind of perfect for this job. He doesn't know you. He's trained everybody else we sent after him. He saw him coming a million miles away. We couldn't get in, and she does end up infiltrating, his base, and ends up, battling the elite guards. And I liked the fact that while she was good, she couldn't take on everybody, that was being thrown at her. It got to the point where she had to like jump into water, hold her breath, get away from there because she was getting overwhelmed. I like when they do stuff like that. Like, she's a great fighter. She can hold her own. But eventually the tide of new bodies being flown at her would just overwhelm her. She recognized that and got out of there.
Yeah, I like this story a lot. And with the thing I had the problem with was the animation, if you can believe it. It reminded me when I was watching it, I forgot I was watching something from the MCU. I thought I was watching like a Disney movie. It felt like Pocahontas to me. Just the animation style, but I guess it
Well,
was a little bit
surprise,
smoother.
surprise. Did you know that Marvel is owned by Disney? They
Yeah, it's
just recently
What?
crazy,
bought it.
right?
When did this happen?
But even it's like it's definitely not the Star Wars style of animation or
Hmm.
the Spider-Man style of animation. But I don't know, it was very Disney to me, very not very much MCU. That was my really only complaint because I thought Noni, that's her name, right? Noni?
Noni,
No?
yeah.
Hmm.
Noni was a badass. You're right, Keith. She could definitely hold her own. She knew how to hide when she needed to hide, and she took the guy out. I mean, I don't know if we've gotten there, but I'm sorry if
No,
we
we were right
jumped into the
there. I mean,
animation.
after a huge battle with him, which I enjoyed the animation style. I thought the fight scenes were well choreographed for this. It was interesting. It flowed well. I was kind of laughing because at the end of the first one, I was kind of like, okay, she was supposed to kind of recover some of these artifacts, and they just sunk to the bottom. And at
I
first, they
was
really did.
watching that. She's like, she tries to go for one. Oh no, it's too far. Let me swim down deeper and get that. Oh no. Oh well.
In my first thought when I watched that, I'm like, oh, the next episode is going to be another attempt to recover them or something. Because I'm like, they can't let these, artifacts just linger at the bottom. We know that it's possible, and I don't know. I don't think they ever found them, and we know, based on Captain America: The First Avenger, they can find things that have sunk to the bottom of the ocean, like the Tesseract. So, I wonder if these are going to come into play. It's funny as I was watching
Oh,
this first episode, I was. Go ahead, Dave.
oh, I just thought the axe that went to the bottom was what Killmonger got out of that case in
In Black
in the
Panther,
museum.
it wasn't. I was thinking the same thing too. Wait till we get to the fourth episode.
We'll get to that,
Okay.
Dave.
It all comes around because I was like, okay, is this going to tie into anything, or are these just going to be standalone episodes? And for the first three, it seemed like they were just going to be standalone episodes. And we'll get to the fourth and kind of tie that up. But that was a good thought, Dave, because I was thinking, okay, these are going to come back at a later date, possibly. So, but she ends up defeating them, and she goes back to Wakanda, and they offer to reinstate her into the Dora Milaje for I wouldn't say successfully completing her mission because she didn't get the artifacts, but she did stop the lion from, continuing to build his own little kingdom over there.
Hmm. I was with Dave at first as far as the animation goes. Like when I first turned it on, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. But rather than reminding me of like Disney's 2D animation, like, their Pocahontas or Lion King or whatever, it actually reminded me of some of the more current-y stuff. I'd say that like the first thought in my mind was like, oh, this looks just like Encanto. That's a little weird. And it, once I watched it a little bit more, I was like, okay, well, yeah, the sort of watercolor stop motion-y look, it's growing on me a bit, but yeah, I was definitely when I first turned it on, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it might have been a little sharper than, the Pocahontas of 34 years ago, but it was still
What?
definitely the same style.
And that leads us into the second episode, Legends and Lies, which was taking place during the Trojan War.
All legends are lies. He says that in the episode.
He does, yes. He said the thing. But, Wakanda had sent a war dog, I believe his name was Memnon, to retrieve a vibranium necklace stolen by Helen of Troy, whose beauty was so much it caused a war. They didn't get into that part of it. But it basically sort of, I don't want to say reimagines the Trojan War, but kind of shows it from this angle of, hey, we're going to use, Achilles' team to kind of get in there and get this artifact back, this necklace back from Helen. And then I was kind of surprised to see that Memnon was the one who killed Achilles. And of course he didn't want to, but I think understandably Achilles felt pretty betrayed by him after all that happened, all the time. They had been together like 8 years, I do believe. I didn't write that down.
You did say 8 years.
Okay, yeah.
That's fresh in my memory.
Keith, they fought together. They bathed together. I mean, they were just two Greek guys being Greek guys together. Just, you don't understand. He had to kill Achilles. It was a murder of passion.
You know what the Greeks say?
No, stop. This is a family show. But he did, unsurprisingly to nobody, cut his Achilles tendon.
Yeah, right. I was waiting for the entire thing. As soon as I found out this was like the War of Troy, I'm like, and then they introduced Achilles. I'm like, oh, okay, he was going after his heel.
But it was kind of nice seeing, the Trojan horse being built, them destroying their ships to put it together, and oh, bring it on in. And then the real betrayal, at least in Achilles' view, was that he went off to go retrieve the necklace and left him there during a huge battle. And he was like, I saw you turn around, you saw me or whatever. And, he's like, hey, my mission is for Wakanda. I feel like you're my brother, hey, but I've got other things to do. I'm a war dog of Wakanda. And what that means is...
I went to war for 8 years to get a necklace back, okay? Dude, you wouldn't understand.
You know how long I've been waiting for this damn necklace, man.
I've missed my children growing up for this thing.
Really?
Which?
So it's a little bit more important than my friendship to you.
And it's nice to see that in these episodes, like, they're not making all of the Wakandans to be these perfect examples. Not the first 2 episodes, I mean, you got a kind of guy who was willing to lie and do whatever he could to get it, and he felt everyone betrayed by him. Noni in the first episode kind of did her own thing, but kind of believed in Wakanda. But then you had the lion who was just like, hey, you know what? Why should I live these lies of Wakanda when I can be basically all powerful? I mean, it was a nice little touch, and they didn't, have this like false narrative. Like I was expecting this, like, the narrator to be Wakandan and build up all these Wakandans to be, almost mythical in nature, and they didn't do that. And I thought it was a very nice touch, because we get into the 3rd episode, which was my favorite. The Iron Path.
This is my least favorite.
Only because I love Iron Fist so much. But I was generally annoyed by the main character of this episode, because
he was irritating.
He was like Jar Jar.
He was very full of himself, way overconfident, didn't think anything through. The entire episode literally could have been avoided if he would have just, like, I don't know, thought for 5 seconds.
Because basically it wasn't Kung An Long, I don't think. Certainly didn't seem
I thought
that
that's
way.
what they were implying, but I wasn't sure.
Me neither. They didn't, and maybe that's to leave it up. Mostly, the Iron Fist. Well, she did say later that she defeated the dragon and stole the fire of his heart, so it must have been Kung An Long. But basically, they have some vibranium in their dragon. It's like the dragon's tongue for this statue. And he kind of clumsies in to Kung Lung because he crashes, and what was it, Jorana? Can't remember
Oh
what
no,
said her
I
name.
did not write down any of their names. I
It's
do not remember.
Jorani. I wrote it down.
All right.
But I don't know how to say it. But basically, he
Norani?
she saves him when he's out in the cold. He's out in the winter. She kind of saves him, and then they kind of have an affair of types, and he ends up using her because she has access to what the vibranium is, and then sneaks off one night. He can't get it out of the tongue.
Ooh, you dog, you war dog.
That's right. And so he ends up stealing like the entire head of the statue, and he
Right.
takes off. But the Iron Fist, which I thought was a much better character than this Wakandan war dog guy, who was just kind of a buffoon, and which once again, I do kind of like they didn't make everybody like T'Challa or something like that, because there's a whole bunch of different people. But
I know they were all the worst.
she ends up, especially in this episode, she ends up climbing in a ship and going back to Wakanda with him, and then she's trying to find the statue to take back to Kung Lung, and I don't remember the guy's name who was the main character of this episode. I didn't even write it down because I was
Right.
so completely annoyed with him.
I like how he gets back and he's all so proud of himself at Wakanda, and he's like, "Well, I completed the mission, didn't I?" And they're like, "Yeah, but like you didn't follow well, I'm not supposed to follow the rules. Yeah, that's what you told me. I'm a war dog. I'm supposed to think independently." Like, yeah, but like within reason, bro. Come on.
It's like Star Trek. You don't a society that doesn't have the technology. You don't show yourself off to them. And he'd made a lot of mistakes.
Oh,
and,
he made a mess.
And even like his boss, who was kind of, "Oh no, we messed up," and he's like, "No, listen to me again." Any good boss would be like, "I'm done listening to you, dude. We're not
Right.
following your plans anymore." Because the Iron Fist is beating up a bunch of guys and finally making it down and makes it to the thing. And she has that big battle with Jar Jar Wakandan. And
That's a good name for him. I like it.
and ends up, basically, okay, he's like, stop. His boss comes in and they're all talking, and she just like uses the Iron Fist and ends up pulling the vibranium out, and she's like, "Here, you can have it. We could have solved all this if you would have just talked to me."
She said the same exact thing that I did. She was just like, if you would have told me this is all you wanted, just plucks it out. Like, because the tongue was removable the entire time. It wasn't even like built into the statue. It was like with a little rod stuck in its mouth. She's like, "You could have had it. All you had to do was ask." And he's like, "Oh, did I do that?"
Well, and it was funny too because I'm watching it and I'm thinking, he's like, this is Wakandan artifact, and she's like, "Yeah, this is a Kung Lung artifact that you didn't seem
Right.
to mind stealing. Your whole mission is to bring these artifacts
dude.
back, so you're just going to steal ours, and that's okay."
Right.
But I did like that we got an Iron Fist that had a great fighting style, used the Iron Fist well, because, we do see...
It wasn't Danny Rand.
I don't mind Danny Rand. I love Danny Rand as a character.
I'm sorry. Live action series Danny Rand.
Yes. I
Finn
can't remember.
Jones.
Yes.
Finn Jones. There we go.
Finn Jones. So, yeah, it was good. It was nice seeing it. Once again, I thought they portrayed her as being what she should be. I mean, she is the Iron Fist. She's one of the greatest fighters, martial artists out there. Shang-Chi and Iron Fist and a few others. So she was able to take down a lot of these Wakandans. And they didn't, downplay and be like, "Oh, they're going to, do okay against her." She kind of whooped their butts. And the last scene was really the thing that I was like, "Oh, God, I can't believe this was an episode." When they're telling the main boss, the general manager, we'll call him, Jar Jar Wakandan and his boss were like, "Oh, this was all a test. We faked that alarm, and it was all good." And he's like, "Oh, is this your idea? Congratulations. You're gonna get promoted to the field." I'm like, oh my God, you can't reward buffoonery. It reminded me of episode 1. It really did, because these buffoons were just kind of chuckle-heading their way through this episode, and then they were actually, rewarded at the end.
But you said this was your favorite episode.
I was joking.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Jeez.
Thank God. Now Keith has some silver lining, but that's a bit of a stretch because this is definitely the worst out of the bunch.
I was
sorry.
super excited when it said the Iron Path, and I was like, oh, finally, we're getting the Iron Fist episode.
Yeah, but it was sandwiched in like shit.
I know. All of the characters were so bad. Outside of the Iron Fist, they were all bad in this episode. It's like, how did Wakanda survive all these years? Because this was like 1400 AD. And I'm like, how did they survive to now if these were the people running the show there? I thought that was a disservice to kind of, you don't have to have them buffoons. They go up against an Iron Fist and they lose, it's fine. But him like, oh, nope, I got here scot-free, nothing to worry about. Ha ha, what's that alarm? Oh my God, it was annoying to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the last episode made up for that a little bit. Because it was called The Last Panther, for those of you playing the home game. And it's set during some major battle. There is Prince Tafari and his mentor, Kuda, were basically sent to retrieve another artifact. Same as it was. And it's kind of nice that each episode kind of had its own style. The first one, she was sent out against, to recover this tech that a Wakandan had used. The second episode was, during the Trojan War, and it was just a war dog trying to get an artifact and kind of his relationship. Third one was obviously a buffoon letting people get into Wakanda unbeknownst, and then covering it up, because, yeah, that's great. But this one, was kind of set during a war, and they needed to go find this artifact. And the veteran guy, Kuda, was like, we have to back off. We can't do this now. There's shells dropping everywhere. I mean, it was very dangerous to be there. And, of course, the prince decides to just go get it himself. And he does. He recovers it.
Which war did they sneak into the middle of again?
I have the Battle of Adwa.
Okay.
It was 1896 Ethiopia.
Okay, all right. I wasn't entirely, but I remember that they, had commented saying, it's not our business to get into the middle of these wars. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not your business? You're literally in the middle of it. And I'm pretty sure I remember one of you in the Trojan War. So.
Is it that hard to go find these things when there's not war going on?
Apparently that's when it matters the most, because I was under, this might be a bit of a stretch, but I was under the assumption that the Wakandans were just like, they would see a war happening, they knew that one of their artifacts happened to be over there, and they were like, well, we don't want them to make the war worse by using our technology. And again, that might not be what they were going for, but that was what my mind had to I'm like, oh, I guess this makes sense. I don't know.
They did talk about that in this episode where he's like, we don't want, these artifacts being recovered and used, for their warlike efforts. But it was nice because I thought, okay, it's just going to be them making it back to Wakanda with this thing. But I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute. That axe looks familiar. And it was the axe that Killmonger had recovered in Black Panther from the British Museum. And they're kind of taking it back to Wakanda, and they're kind of attacked. And I'm like, what? Who is that? And we find out that is the future Black Panther. And she comes back.
Way, way into the future.
Yeah, 500 years in the future. And she's warning that the Horde is coming. And it devastates the world and Wakanda in the future.
I was hoping to ask you two tonight because I'm not familiar with, all of Marvel Comics or anything. Is the Horde a thing? Because I wasn't sure if that had something to do with Thanos or what it was.
The Horde is a thing. First appearance was Eternals Volume 3, Number 6.
Okay.
And they are an insectoid, hive-minded cosmic entities that serve the fulcrum. And basically, he's talking about cosmic balance.
So this will bring Ahsoka into this galaxy.
Yes, this will bring Ahsoka into this galaxy.
Fulcrum. Okay.
So the Horde usually goes and consumes worlds deemed ready for harvest.
No, that was Fantastic Four. I think you might have got things confused.
Right, that's
there
right.
was a
But
cosmic entity that consumes worlds.
Big tall guy walking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they herald him? But they infect
He's made out
planets
of clouds.
and even Celestials himself. And they can turn Celestials basically evil. And the Horde came to Earth 4 billion years ago. And they infected a Celestial known as the Progenitor, or the Progenitor, whose
Progenitor, yeah, I've heard that.
Progenitor, whose corpse seeded Earth with supernatural potential, which basically created why the Earth always has so many super beings in Marvel.
Progenitor. So he likes janitors. He's
Janitor.
pro-janitor. He likes them?
Yeah. He's very pro.
He's pro. He's not anti. What'd you say?
Janitors. Yeah.
He's not an anti-janitor. No, sir.
Very pro-janitor. Yeah.
He's pro-janitor. Yeah.
Okay, hey, we got a comment on YouTube.
No.
It's Kevin Davis. Black community is still mad at Marvel Studios for not recasting T'Challa. Eyes of Wakanda was a pretty good show. I agree. I'm looking forward to Black Panther 3. Here's the thing I was going to bring this up later, because we know Kevin Feige has said that there's going to be some major recasts in the MCU moving forward. Do you think they're going to finally recast T'Challa?
Oh, yeah.
I do too.
I don't think it's going to come until after Secret Wars.
I agree. But I do think they are going to recast and go back to T'Challa being the Black Panther, which I understand why they didn't. You know, Chadwick Boseman was beloved by everybody, and they didn't want to, to replace him right away and just feel like what he did was nothing. But it's time.
It did kind of feel like a nice way to honor his life, his acting as the Black Panther, to not only acknowledge that he had died in real life, but also like have his character in the MCU die as well. And I will say, when I did go to see the movie in theaters, it did bring a little tear to my eye. It was I think they handled it well.
Yeah, it was a tearjerker. Yeah, I agree with that.
Definitely
in the fields.
Definitely was.
It wasn't as bad as when like Terrence Howard stopped playing Rhodey or anything.
But it was funny the way they handled that one too.
I'm joking. I
used to it.
I think Don Cheadle is doing it better anyway.
I do too.
Yeah, I think they made the right choice there. But, she basically warns these two war dogs, well, the veteran and the prince, and basically says, you need to return that artifact because we've looked at some timelines, basically, and if it's not recovered by Killmonger, they didn't say Killmonger, but we all knew who it was. If it's basically
she
not
had mentioned there were like multiple points that she had looked at, and this was the one where they had to return it because had they not, then nobody would have discovered Wakanda. Wakanda wouldn't have reached out to the outside world. And so, yeah, it was exactly as Keith is pointing out. The whole idea was to set up that Killmonger ends up finding it in the museum, and then all of a sudden that leads to Wakanda finally raising its shield and opening itself up to the outside world.
Yeah, to help everybody. And all the different points.
A Nexus moment.
Yeah, and all the different points that they talked about she was looking at was all the episodes.
Yep.
So we saw the artifact sinking to the bottom. We saw the Trojan War stuff, and we saw this, and they decided this was the point.
She decided to skip episode 3 because that was just stupid. And
she said Iron Fist was cool, but the rest of that, we don't need it. They could all die. But, we end up finding out they're trying to return it, and the war's gotten worse where they need to take it to. So they're struggling to get it back where it is. They are fighting the Horde in the future, almost destroying it. They're almost getting close to the gate to jump into other worlds, which would have been probably devastating to, 1896 Ethiopia. But like any show, they end up getting it back in its place right at the last moment. The future's saved. We get, eventually Killmonger finding it in the British Museum, going to Wakanda. Not that they showed all this, but. And, T'Challa, the Black Panther, opening up Wakanda technology to help the world. So, at least changing that future for now. But, I do think they chose the Horde for a reason. And I do think we are.
Will appear again in more animated stuff, or just the MCU overall?
I think the MCU overall, because, we've talked about it with the Annihilation Wave. And, Annihilus had led it, Ultron had led one, where they're trying to take out the universe. And I do think in Phase 7, we might get, our first hints of the Horde in the MCU. Like maybe the Silver Surfer special presentation, maybe a Nova series, because we have heard that Annihilus was going to be the bad guy of the Nova series, and maybe he starts to, because they are a hive mind, he might be able to talk with them and control them and gets, part of it. But I think purposely set here to set up in the next couple phases them possibly being a part of the Annihilation Wave and having a complete, giant crossover event with everybody helping. Because in the comics, it was the Guardians, it was Nova, it was Silver Surfer, it was almost all the Heralds of Galactus that had left, and it was pretty good. So I'm thinking that's what they might do here. We might get a Phase 7, might get hints of them. Maybe Silver Surfer and Nova run into them, have a fight. There might be, a full-scale invasion at some point, and then there might be like some final confrontation to wrap it all up when they're, it needs the entire unified MCU to try to, fight them off or whatever. And maybe it's vibranium that kind of brings them to Earth or wants them to take Earth. Maybe it'll be, something tied into mutant evolution. Who knows? It might even be the Celestial that got turned into adamantium. That's the thing, who knows? But I do think we are going to see a lot more of the Horde in future MCU shows. So I was kind of happy to see them because, they don't get a lot of comic time. A lot of the times it's, the Brood who fought the X-Men and Miss Marvel and stuff. That's usually the alien force that we see in the MCU. So them going with the Horde, I think, is just to shake it up a little bit and change it up. And maybe the Brood will be kind of the X-Men, and this will be the more cosmic side of things. Because we have heard, post the multiversal saga, we're going to kind of have the mutant stuff. We're going to have a cosmic side. We're going to have supernatural, and we're going to have, like, street-level stuff. So I think they could be the big bad for the cosmic side of things.
That would fit.
That's kind of nuts. That they will, like, not only, they combined all the Avengers in the first 3 phases, but now they're going to have different sections. The cosmic phase, and then they're probably not going to interact with the street level guys till some major event, probably 8, 9, 10 movies down the road. But I think it's cool because these little sections can still have their little Avengers movies.
Exactly. I agree. I think that would help kind of streamline it a little bit if they did kind of branch it out into cosmic war street level stuff, that kind of, because it is something we've been looking for more of, rather than every single time any of these superheroes get together it's because of like a world ending event. It's like they don't all need to be that. It can just be some guy in a rhino suit that wants to steal like diamonds or some shit. Come on.
Hey.
It could just be, a crime boss, is trying to take over a city and they just stop him. That would be interesting too.
It would be very interesting, Maybe we could even get a flashback of when he was a boy.
And they could stop a dude from turning into an actual rhino?
That would never happen, Dave.
No?
No one would actually literally turn. That's a dumb idea that would never be put to screen.
Oh, wait. I think I saw that somewhere.
I hope one day we get a quality rhino in a movie.
Well, we got 2 strikes so far.
I know.
Got
It's
one
like
chance
the
left.
Dark Phoenix saga. 2 strikes against it already. They might wait a while to do it again.
Well, they had a good actor to play him. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah,
didn't
just
do
like don't
anything
put him in a
except for that
stupid
one scene.
robot suit.
Yeah, he just did that one scene. But
Yeah, once
That
again,
was enough. We didn't need more.
even great actors can't overcome bad writing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But should we rate these episodes, gentlemen?
Sure.
I could rate a 1.5 of them.
Well, go for it, sir.
Yeah,
the ones
based
I've
on what you've
seen-
seen so far.
Based on what I've seen so far, what you're describing is coming. I'm not looking forward to episode 3 now. But what I have seen,
You have to watch it anyway.
yeah, I will. I'm just disappointed in the animation. Like I said, it's not my preference, but the stories are good, and I love the dialogue on these, and that's a big thing for me is dialogue. If you're gonna have big action scenes, I like to have them have a reason. And if you have good dialogue and you can steer it that way, rather than just the dialogue being, we're just going to walk you through what we've done so far, and then here's what we're going to do. They explain the plot to you in the dialogue, and that's when you know it's not the top writing. This one they have dialogue, they have a little background with each character. I enjoy that, and all the action that I've seen has been, Noni's a badass, like I said. And Achilles is Achilles, you know what I mean? He's unbeatable. Of course, he gets beat, but you know what I'm saying. So, what I've seen so far, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I really enjoy it. Can't wait to finish it.
A lot of good things this series had. I did. I liked the fight scenes. I liked the stories that they told. Except maybe the third one. Except maybe my favorite episode. I think they did a good job of taking these 30-minute shorts, and I think you felt you knew the characters pretty well. It wasn't like, wait, who is that again? I mean, you recognize them. They did a good job telling these stories. I think the stories were interesting for the most part. The one thing, the soundtrack, it didn't seem too different than what we've gotten in the Black Panther movies. It seemed very similar, and I was kind of like, it wasn't bad, don't get me wrong. I was just kind of like, I thought they might do something a little bit different with it. But it sounded more like what we've gotten from the movie. So I was kind of like, not a bad thing per se. I don't know. I just expected them to do something new. And outside of the third episode, they did a great job. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the dialogue. I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the episodes. The fourth one, I was kind of like, well, I guess we're not going to tie all this together. And then, the entire fourth episode was proving me wrong after I, thought it in my head. It's all connected to what's going on. It's all connected to basically the sacred timeline of the MCU and why, things have to go back. And then, in my opinion, they introduced a potential cosmic big bad for coming down the line in the MCU. So, for all of those reasons, I'm going to give it a 7.2. It was good. I don't think it was great, but I still enjoyed it. A quality 2 hours of watching a quality hour and a half of watching television. I do think that third episode brought it down, because I think I was probably closer to an 8, but that third episode kind of dragged it down a bit, because it was I hate bumbling heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what I'm scared of now, Keith.
I know you're
Because I
not.
gave it a 7.5, and you gave it a 7.2. That's how much down that third episode is going to bring it. Because if you're giving a 7.2, I know mine would be less. So.
Yeah, the whole Jar Jar Wakandan just irritated me to no end. I had trouble watching that episode. Every time it was like, I'd be like, oh, he's on. Oh, the Iron Fist. All right.
That was a phone episode.
Yes. But 7.2. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check out these episodes. I think they were definitely quality television.
You know, I'm gonna have to be the odd one out here. I didn't like them. This was not my favorite time watching TV. Um, I wanted to, I really did. But the thing is, like, third episode was not good, but I also really did not care for the others. Like, I struggled to find any of the characters likable, especially the main characters who, like, we're supposed to be following and rooting for, but, like, the situations to me did not make that much of sense. It seems like Wakanda has, like, a serious issue with constantly losing shit that they have to develop an entire organization just to go and retrieve the stuff they keep losing. But then the other thing that, and okay, this is definitely due to my clearly my lack of knowledge of the comics, but even back in, like, supposedly when the Trojan War happened, Wakanda has all this like amazing, insane technology, like floating things and holograms, and I'm just like, okay, that's a bit of a stretch. And uh, um, I get that you've got vibranium, and it's a very strong metal, and it can lead to a lot of things. But like, does that really mean that you're going to have like technology from the year 3000? I mean, to me, it was a bit of a stretch. And I assume this is how it is in the comics. I just don't know. It
is,
is
yeah.
even going that far into the past. That's wild. Weird choice, but yeah, didn't like the characters. The animation eventually grew on me. It was fine. Like I said, like once I got like a closer look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, kind of cool. It's a little bit of like a watercolor sort of look to it, and I was like, all right, that's sort of neat. But the stories really weren't that interesting to me. I didn't really like much of the main characters. The third episode brought it way down, and then by the time the fourth episode came there, just for that ending to show, like the still of what's his name,
Killmonger.
Killmonger, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. So, I got to give it a 5 out of 10. It was, to me, this is not something I would watch again.
Dude,
Sorry.
it proved that Kang's sacred timeline was the right way to go.
Okay,
Come on,
sure.
dude.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I was sitting there like, as soon as she's like, okay, we're gonna do a time travel, I'm thinking, oh, here come the TVA. Oh no, she can just do that. Okay.
They just haven't caught up to her yet.
Watch, the TVA will come in just to reset her universe so it's like shit again. They're gonna go back. Here's your axe. No, no, no. We worked so hard to put that back.
Why did you give me that? Well, if anyone out in the chat watched it, let us know what you think. Are you more in line with Dave and I, or more with Doug? And we do have Neon Green SR 50. Best viewers on steamboo.com. Remove the space. Thank you so much. We appreciate that first time chatter. But we will try to earn our viewers the old fashioned way. Not by paying for them, but by hopefully just being entertaining enough that they come to see us.
And how can you say that they're the best? I mean, what makes them better than anybody else?
Maybe they come to every stream, watch the entire time, and chat.
They are the best.
I mean, I guess it's at your definition what the best viewer is.
Objectively the best.
Yes.
What is objectively the best?
I don't know if you can say what objectively the best is. Subjectively,
You get to go to like a storefront and be like, I'd like that viewer. I don't know. That viewer's on their phone. But it's on discount.
He at least has it on, so I get the view. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You know, the volume.
This one will. Oh, how much does commenting cost? Is that extra? It is.
We do got a high commenter. Oh, I don't know.
He's high? What?
No, he adds a lot of comments during your stream.
Oh.
High commenters are a lot more.
He's laughing at everything.
But that still didn't answer my question. Is he high?
Not this one, though. The other guy is. All right. That is it for Eyes of Wakanda. Let's talk a little Spider-Man. Brand New Day. And I think we should start with the suit reveal.
Sure.
So for those of you at home, it is up on your screen now, or about to be up on your screen. And this does look like it was influenced a little bit from the other Spider-Man from No Way Home. I mean, that spider looks a lot like Tobey Maguire's spider.
Yeah, I was about to say that does look very inspired by the Sam Raimi design of their suit.
And seeing Tom Holland look like an adult almost now, I was kind of
Finally.
like, wow, that makes me feel really old. He was like a kid in Spider-Man Homecoming. He felt like he actually felt like he was a high schooler. I know he wasn't at the time, but he's starting to, look like a Spider-Man. Oh, what'd you say, Dave?
Isn't he almost like 30 now?
Oh yeah,
I should look that up.
I think so.
Oh yeah.
I believe so. But we didn't.
But yeah, I dig the suit too. It looks pretty cool.
We didn't just get the suit reveal, which was for Spider-Man Day. I don't know why it's Spider-Man Day, but it was. But we got some behind the scenes. They're filming in Glasgow. We got some behind the scenes sort of screenshots, and one of them was a tank. And you're saying, oh great, Keith, it was a tank. Whoop-de-doo. But it had an Inner Demons emblem on it. And for those of you who don't know who the Inner Demons are, they are basically all of the criminals, all of the army for Mr. Negative. So if this wasn't just an Easter egg on that tank, and the Inner Demons are a part of Brand New Day, I do believe that means that Mr. Negative will probably make his debut. I don't want to say the main villain, but will make his debut in Spider-Man Brand New Day in the MCU. Which
Mr. Negative, that guy's a black cloud.
He just certainly is.
He's never got anything nice to say. He's always down on his luck.
Oh, wait, no. I didn't see someone use their channel points for a dad joke. What's going on here? Dave's giving them away for free. We're trying to sell them, man.
Just drop out of the sky.
But that's not all we learned. I'm kind of, Mr. Negative, I do believe, made his debut in the Spider-Man video game. So it'll be interesting to see how he's portrayed here. A lot of it had to do with Aunt May and Feast, and we know Aunt May has passed on in the MCU, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. But we got more information. Michael Mando, not the Mandalorian, but Michael Mando, is returning as Scorpion in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And he shared a picture of the Venom symbiote, the Venom symbiote with Scorpion.
No way, that's awesome.
I was like, there is no chance they are going to move that quickly with Scorpion. But maybe they will. We know that there's a piece of the symbiote in the MCU from, No Way Home. But it would be an interesting choice to have it sort of bond with the Scorpion first before anyone else. But he may have just shared that because he liked the picture that it came with, because hopefully he will be fully decked out as Scorpion and not just be the gangster, that talks to Vulture in prison at the end. Because I got to tell you, there's better food in that other universe. We need to go there.
We got to get back.
A part of me is hoping that they retcon the whole Vulture got sent to another universe thing, because I was so excited at Homecoming that for once we had a Spider-Man movie where he didn't kill his villain. It never made sense to me that we've got so many of these superhero movies where we kill the villain at the end, or the villain dies at the end, whether, they drown or their neck accidentally gets snapped somehow. We don't know how it happened, but I mean, because then, now that you've killed them out of the series, they can't come back, and you can't have any more adventures with them, and you can't learn how to, defeat them the second time around now that you've learned from. And so that was one of, Spider-Man has a good list of villains. You want to see them come back. You want to see how Spider-Man's going to deal with them the second time around. Have they upgraded their tech? Has Spider-Man learned new tricks?
Exactly.
So when they're like,
Peach,
let's send Vulture to another universe, I'm like, no, you're ruining it.
Remember, that
Didn't you
was
watch
for a Sony
Peacemaker?
movie.
True. So, MCU, undo it, please, for the love of God.
didn't you see Peacemaker? You're supposed to kill your villains so they don't keep breaking out of jail.
And speaking of villains, another villain rumored to make their MCU debut in Spider-Man Brand New Day, Tombstone.
Cool.
Straight from the animated series? Is
Yep.
that gonna be like related?
I don't
or is
know.
it gonna be separate?
It would be interesting if they, kept a very similar storyline because that was something that I liked about oh my gosh, Spider-Man freshman year? No. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yes,
That's what they
yes.
renamed it. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. One of my favorite things learning about that was originally when they were developing it, it was supposed to be in the MCU. But then when they realized, you know what, we've got lot more creative freedom to kind of do our own thing, but it was still, you could see a lot of similarities, like they were maybe just a dimension or two off, from like Prime Rick to Rick 616. So like, they were pretty darn close, So I would be interested to see if some of the storylines that they had created for these villains, their backstories and everything, were what they had originally concocted for when they were going to show up in the mainline movies.
No, I mean, I would be all for it. But we do have some other villains that are also rumored to show up here.
Oh boy, this is going to be chock full of villains. Okay,
Ramrod
cool.
is also...
You know what? If one thing is true about Spider-Man movies, the more villains that you stick in them, the better they always are.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
That's
Ramrod is also rumored to be in it. I know what you're saying. Keith, who's Ramrod? I think
Whoa,
he's maybe
right, Benny.
been in one or two comics at the most. And he's basically a guy who has like metal on his head and on his fists.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a fighter. I think he might, if he is in this movie, if this is legit showing up, I think he might just be one of those guys at the beginning who just gets his butt whooped. And then sends
Okay,
jail.
so are we thinking this is kind of like what they did in Fantastic Four, where we've got a montage of them beating up a bunch of villains? But I would be totally fine with that. If that's the direction that they're going with it. Cool. Good. We get to see a bunch of Spider-Man villains, but we don't have the movie chock full of them.
And something we have talked about before, which has now been confirmed. Mark Ruffalo is returning as Hulk in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Dumb. Next.
Let me wax poetically for a moment, sir. In the comics, and it just happened to be a Spider-Man comic, Professor Hulk, and I don't remember how they did it now. They basically...
Must not have been that good.
He became... It was the 90s. It wasn't that good. But basically he was separated because Professor Hulk, the Hulk and Banner are kind of together. And his personalities were separated again. So he became the Savage Hulk again. And I think it's interesting that Mr. Negative has kind of been rumored for this because he can kind of possess people. He has the ability to kind of take over somebody. And what if he is the one who separates Hulk from Banner and turns him back into the Incredible or Savage Hulk, whatever you want to call him? And he's not necessarily a villain. I hope he's not. If he does become the Savage Hulk, they may have to steer him clear of hurting people, but I don't think he's the villain. I think it may be Mr. Negative.
More of a distraction, maybe?
Used as kind of a distraction. And it makes sense to me now that the Hulk is there because I do think they want to get back to... Because I don't think anyone really wanted to see Professor Hulk in Endgame. I mean, they did it, but everyone wants to see World War Hulk. Everyone wants to see the Hulk, just rampaging and fighting Abomination and things like that and not, sending Scott Lang to the future or anything and coming back a baby. Don't need that. So I think this might just be them bringing back Savage Hulk.
And I don't think they can make a solo Hulk movie, can they?
They can now. Universal
They
no
can.
longer holds the rights, I believe, because they haven't had a movie in production in long enough or something along those lines. I know there's like some sort of deal. And now, something came up today. And the Hollywood Reporter reported it, who's usually pretty reputable. But a lot of these scoopers are saying this is not true. So, we have a new thing on Not Your Status Quo. True or BS? I'm going to let you gentlemen decide. And we got one other. I read this other one. It's a Star Wars one. We'll get to it in a little bit. This is what made me come up with this new game. But this one, because the Hollywood Reporter reported it, but a lot of people were saying it's BS and it has not been confirmed by anybody. Is this true or is this BS, gentlemen? Iman Vellani will reprise her role as Miss Marvel in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
I think it's true with a caveat.
Oh, caveat.
What is the caveat, sir?
I think she might show up, but it's just going to be an end credit scene
Okay.
of her continuing to try and recruit people to her team.
I don't know if I can call it BS because she does live in New York.
Yeah, that too. Oh, and we had we had Daredevil meet up with her dad, and he was, singing her praises at the bank. So,
Yes.
yeah,
I'm
If
with
she
you
is in
guys.
it, I'm sure it will be a very small part.
yeah,
I-
I agree. I think she might be in there, but it's just going to be like maybe a little background thing. Maybe we'll see it in part of one of this montage where she teams up to help him out, and then she's gone. Or again, maybe just an end credit scene. But I don't think it's going to be like a major role.
That would be kind of nice to see her teaming up with Spider-Man, maybe to take on the Scorpion or Tombstone or something. Because I always loved the Marvel team-up comics from when I was a kid, when it was always Spider-Man or somebody else. And then you had the Marvel 2-in-1s, which was the Thing and somebody else. So I think it's true, too. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Punisher level
No,
in the movie, but I think she will definitely show up. And now,
but
Crazy
I
town.
wouldn't mind. So I will say one of the things that I was so upset about when they wanted to bring Hulk in there, I just want a solo Spider-Man movie where he's doing stuff on his own, where he's got to rely on his own smarts. He doesn't have Tony Stark to help back him up. He doesn't have Tony Stark's tech to help back him up. We finally got like a clean slate with the spell, where now he's back to living in a dumpy apartment. Doesn't really, has to try and re-earn all of his schooling and everything. Makes his own suits on a sewing machine. Like, just let us have a solo Spider-Man movie, please. He doesn't need the rest of the Avengers coming in and saving his ass every time. I mean, it's nice for them to like show up every now and again, but like I said, I do want her to be in there, just not in a major role. Like, hey, how's it going, Spider-Man? All right, bye.
hey, we teamed up, took this guy down. Thanks, see you later.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, we'll talk later. Do you have any other Spider-Man like Miles Morales? We'll get out of here. Oh, and Tundra Walker on Twitch said, Charlie bit my finger. Which I do believe is a Tiger reference from tonight's game. So,
Oh,
I don't know. I know they were down 1-0. I don't know if they're still losing, Tundra Walker. Please let us know. But now, that's all
I
the
thought maybe that was
Spider-Man.
Always Sunny reference or something.
It's a meme where the little baby, bites his brother's finger, and he's like, Charlie bit my finger.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I think it is in reference to the Tiger game. Now, that's all the Spider-Man Brand New Day stuff we got. We do have one just Marvel Studios type tidbit. Once again, this
Okay.
is rumor, has not been confirmed, but it says the Russo brothers have finally finished writing the third act of Avengers Doomsday.
Okay.
I
Good.
guess that's fine. Yeah. Hopefully
Don't
it's good.
film it until you got a script. That's what I always say.
Hopefully it makes sense.
But, well, now, Dave, hold on, because they also had a couple of different scripts for Blade, so
Just
But Blade
don't
wasn't
start
filming
now.
yet. So hopefully, hopefully it's good. Hopefully they got this
Is
down.
Doomsday filming?
Yes, it's already filming.
Okay.
So hopefully that's true. And now this is our last little bit. This is the rumor or the scoop that I looked at and said, this is total BS. And I wasn't going to share it because I try to keep the ones that seemingly are the most BS away from this show. But I thought, hey, let's have a new bit on our stream. True
This
or
one
BS?
might be fun, huh?
Yes. I read this and I was like, there is not a chance this is happening. But I'll let you gentlemen also pitch in. And I won't normally ruin it by saying, hey, I don't think this one is true at all. I don't want to influence anyone's. Not that I have that type of influence.
Basically just said that multiple times.
Yes, I know. Sorry. So, Star Killer from the Force Unleashed games will appear as the son of the Mortis gods in Ahsoka Season 2. And Sam Witwer will be playing him.
No.
No.
I don't buy it.
I could see Sam Witwer playing a live action role in the Ahsoka series, and maybe he could be the son, but not Starkiller.
I agree. I don't know if he was seen on
The
set.
Bendu.
Yes.
I mean, he could be any number of live action. Like, he knows his Star Wars stuff. I would love to see him in, some sort of live action role, but trying to reprise the role of Starkiller? No, I don't see that happening because that was decanonized. So,
And especially, I mean, it'd be weird seeing him falling off cliffs all the time. He's falling to his... Oh wait, that was just what I played.
oh God,
That's right. I mean, there was a lot of cliffs where
that
they
is
were.
canon.
Yes. Well, excellent. I'm glad we all see that. And I honestly, I saw that and I'm like, did Sam Witwer visit the set of Ahsoka so someone's coming up with some crazy theory? Because he's friends with
Was that it?
Dave Filoni and everything else.
Yeah.
Were you saying?
Oh, did you find out whether that was true or not?
Well, no. Everyone called it BS online, but this guy's like, I'm telling you, it's true. You?
No, I meant, did you find out whether he visited the set or not?
No, I couldn't find anything on
Okay.
it. But he is friends with all those guys. But that's all we got for tonight. Another fun-filled, action-packed evening of MCU, Star Wars. No DCU stuff tonight, but that's all right. We'll get Peacemaker soon enough. And just so everyone knows, we will be recreating the dance scene at the beginning. No, I'm just kidding. We are not going to do that.
Don't forget the next thing we got going is the Alien, name of it?
Yeah, Alien Earth.
Thank you. Alien Earth.
Yep.
Which I might have a chance to see the first episode in a theater. So if that happens, I'm going to take advantage.
And we will be back Thursday night, August 7th, talking Leveling Season 1, the last 3 episodes of the first season. We will be off Sunday, August 10th. I will be traveling with my family. But then Thursday, August 14th, we will be talking Alien Earth. The premiere, Dave is going to see it in the theater. I might be watching at home. And then obviously we got the second episode, the second Thursday, and then that Sunday, Peacemaker Season 2 premiere, which I don't know if it's going to be multiple episodes to premiere or what's going on, but we got a lot of great stuff coming up. We're probably going to get a Wonder Man trailer at some point. We know the good stuff is on the way.
You've been saying that for a couple of months now.
I know. And eventually, I'm going to be right.
Eventually. Oh, Lord.
Be like in the Thanksgiving Day game on the NFL. They're going to have a
Here it comes.
trailer.
Everybody watch. We're getting peak. It's going to be peak MCU, gentlemen.
And it just shows him in his ionic state. He's not even a human form.
They decided to scrap it being live action. They just used the same animation as Eyes of Wakanda.
Oh, that would be funny.
Only for the
Also,
name.
he's a Jar Jar character the entire time.
That's it. That you have crossed the line, sir. That is not to be tolerated.
Wonder Binks.
Right.
Binks
Mr.
crazy
Sorry.
We're not even rating anybody today. This stream is over. How dare you guys?
Anyone watching us should be ashamed right now.
So true. Well,
Gosh.
let's find somebody to raid, gentlemen.
It's
All
okay.
right. Let's see. Who do we have that we could raid?
I still got nobody. Man, it's a slow night.
Let's see.
T-Pain is on, but
No,
yeah, probably not a good idea.
Not.
CW Devarian is on.
I have somebody named Saeri Jane. Who is this? Sari Jane?
Sarah Jane.
What are they playing?
Yeah. It says they're playing a game called Parasocial. 83 people in their thing. And then I also see somebody called Permanent Violet playing Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, no, any of them?
Yeah, I mean, either one sounds good. There isn't. I'm not seeing many people online today.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on tonight. Huh. Everybody must still be celebrating Spider-Man Day.
True.
It's got to be what it is.
True, yeah.
Everyone's over on Belle Isle for some reason. I drove down there earlier today and couldn't get over the bridge, man. I didn't even go.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a 25-minute wait from the bridge to Belle Isle. I don't know what was going on out there today.
I wonder what was going on.
Some kind of a picnic thing. I have no idea.
All right, so for those of you out there that are wondering what it is that your fellow nerds are over here doing, rating is where we can take all of you fine people that are watching us on Twitch and head over to somebody else's Twitch stream. That way we can kind of keep the party going, right? You're watching us, you don't want to quite get off Twitch yet, you want to go watch something else. So that's what we're doing. We're going to head over to somebody else's Twitch stream. I assume this is somebody we must have watched before. I don't know otherwise why they would have been favorited. I'm guessing we've watched them before, but anybody who's in our favorite list, friend of the channel. Unfortunately, not really something like this that we can do on YouTube, but that's okay. Because if you're watching us out there on YouTube, what you can do is like us, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and as always, the most important, we want to hear from you. So, comment down below. And we'll see you next time, right here, on Not Your Status Quo. Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live, Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.